I never expected him to say it in the middle of our breakup. Not in the pouring rain. Not with the world around us blurred into glowing puddles and passing headlights. "I love you," he said, voice trembling like the lightning that split the sky above us. And I wanted to laugh because after everything, after the screams and the silences, how could love feel so ridiculous and unbearable at the same time? I had already pulled my coat tighter, my hands shoved deep into pockets, pretending not to hear him, pretending that his words didn't pierce straight through the walls I had spent months building around my heart. But the truth was, I was staring at him in disbelief, my chest tightening, my body remembering the warmth I had been missing, the warmth that only he could give me. We met on a sunless autumn afternoon in Chicago. The first thing I noticed was the way his laughter lingered, almost like it was reluctant to leave, like it was tethered to something it didn't want to let go. And I, foolish, naive, hopelessly soft, had fallen into it instantly. We were both young and reckless, a hurricane wrapped in human skin, colliding into each other with the force of unspoken desperation. First, it was easy. Coffee shops, late-night walks, stolen kisses in empty subway stations. His hand always found mine, even when I tried to hide the shaking of my fingers. We fit together like pieces of a puzzle I didn't even know I had been missing. But ease doesn't last when two people carry as much damage as we did. Arguments started over nothing text messages, misunderstood words, old insecurities clawing their way out. I would leave the room in tears, and he would stare at the door, jaw tight, like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. And yet, every time he touched my shoulder, brushed his thumb against my cheek, my heart betrayed me with an immediate flutter, reminding me that I was hopelessly, irreversibly his. Tonight we were broken, not just bruised, not just tired, we were shattered. I had told him I needed space, a breath of air without the suffocating weight of his gaze. And he had said nothing, just followed me into the rain, footsteps echoing mine, like a shadow I couldn't shake. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered, voice barely audible over the storm, afraid that saying it out loud would make it real. "Then why are you still here?" His voice was raw, soft, trembling with something I couldn't name. He stepped closer, and my entire body tensed. I need to forget you," I said, swallowing the lump in my throat. My eyes stung not just from the rain. "I don't want you to forget me," he said, almost laughing, almost crying. "I want you to remember that I love you, even if it's too late." Too late. That was the cruelest truth. I had wanted to run, to protect myself from falling again, from letting him hurt me as he always did. And yet here he was, standing under a half-broken umbrella, soaked to the bone, eyes pleading, vulnerability dripping from him like the rain from his hair. I wanted to scream. I wanted to collapse. I wanted to pull him into my arms and never let go. But I couldn't. Not yet. Not when the last weeks of our fights were still raw, when the jagged edges of our pain threatened to cut anything fragile we tried to rebuild. And still I felt it pull. The undeniable, magnetic force of him, the part of me that had always belonged to him. My hands twitched, aching to reach for his, to bridge the gap that fear and pride had carved between us. His eyes softened, and in that moment, I saw everything I had been denying. The nights he stayed up worrying about me, the laughter we had shared when the world was quiet, the tiny touches that had become lifelines in the chaos of our lives. I can't hate you," I whispered, "no matter how hard I try." His lips quirked, a sad, half-smile, and he took a cautious step closer, closing some of the distance between us. Then why leave? Because leaving felt safer. Because love had already torn us apart once, and the idea of surviving another heartbreak was unbearable. Yet, standing there in the storm, I realized that what I had feared most was not Pinit was losing him completely. Losing him without ever having told him that I, too, had loved him all along, in my own messy, stubborn way. The rain fell harder, drumming against our coats and the umbrella above us, as if the world itself wanted to wash away our hesitation. And for the first time that night, I let myself imagine his hand in mine, warm and steady, his thumb brushing the back of my palm, a silent promise that maybe, just maybe, love could survive the storm. I hesitated, my fingers trembling, and then finally, slowly, I reached out. His hand met mine under the umbrella, slick with rain, and the warmth of his skin shocked me. It was like coming home after being lost in the dark for too long. All the pain, all the fear, all the distance we had created melted away in that one touch. I shouldn't, I whispered, my voice breaking. I shouldn't be here. We can't fix this. He tilted his head, a smile breaking through the storm of his own anguish. Who said anything about fixing? Maybe we just start from here, just this moment. For the first time in what felt like forever, I laughed a short, incredulous sound that mingled with the rain. The absurdity of it hit me. After all the fights, all the nights I had spent crying alone, we were standing on a wet Chicago sidewalk, hands brushing, hearts still tethered, daring to hope. I don't know if I can trust us again, I admitted, voice small. I don't know if we're strong enough. You don't have to know right now, he said, squeezing my hand gently. We just try, one step at a time. His eyes softened, and I felt a pull I hadn't felt in months. Vulnerable, scared, but undeniably alive. I let out a shaky breath, feeling the tension in my chest ease slightly. One step, I repeated, letting the words sink in. It sounded impossibly simple, but somehow it felt like salvation. He smiled, and I noticed the subtle quiver of his lips, the way his eyes glistened with unshed tears. I've missed you, he said quietly, almost ashamed. Every day, every stupid little thing you did, every time you laughed at my terrible jokes. I've missed it all. I didn't want to let go even when I was scared, especially then. I swallowed, the lump in my throat making it hard to speak. I missed you too, I finally admitted. Even when I told myself I didn't. Even when I tried to push you away, you loved me, he said, finishing my thought. I know, and I love you too. There was no fanfare, no cinematic explosion of emotion. Just the rain, the city humming around us, and the simple truth hanging between us, fragile but undeniable. I leaned slightly into him, letting his shoulder brush mine, feeling the comfort of his presence, the safety of someone who had known my soul and still wanted to stay. Then, maybe we don't have to be broken anymore, I murmured, almost to myself. Maybe we can be us again. Not perfect, not unscathed, but together. His hand moved to cup my cheek, thumb brushing gently, wiping away a raindrop or maybe a tear I couldn't tell. His eyes searched mine, and I saw every apology, every regret, every whispered, I love you, that had never been spoken. Together, he echoed. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of wet asphalt and distant traffic, and in that moment, everything felt lighter. The world wasn't perfect, the storm wasn't over, but for the first time in months, I felt hope threading its way through the cracks of my heart. We stayed there for a long while, letting the rain soak through our coats, letting the city fade around us. There was laughter too, quiet and hesitant at first, then growing bolder as we remembered what it felt like to be alive in each other's presence. I don't know what comes next, I said softly, but I want to try, with you, even if it's messy, even if it hurts again. He pressed a gentle kiss to my temple, and the simple intimacy made my chest ache in the best possible way. Messy is fine, he whispered. As long as we're together, I'll take all of it. Every storm, every silence, every stupid fight. And for the first time, I believed him. I believed us. The past wasn't erased, we carried it. Like a scar we could trace with our fingers, but it didn't define us. Not anymore. The storm began to subside, leaving behind a quiet, glistening city street. Our hands remained entwined, warmth seeping through the soaked fabric, and I realized that love wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, over and over, even when the world had tried to break you. I love you, I whispered, finally saying it for myself, for him, for us. I love you too, he replied, voice steady, strong, unwavering. And in that soaked Chicago night, amidst puddles reflecting neon lights, we laughed and clung to each other. Two broken souls daring to be whole again, daring to be loved, daring to be together. For the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. And maybe that was enough. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.